10 o'clock. No attorney.
The cord was unplugged last week, it's plugged in now. It's still, Josh is in there.
Josh quit.
Oh, I can't believe that, David.
It's not on the right channel. Dave, you have to put it on the right channel. The input.
Remember, I tried that. You told me it had to be HDMI.
We're recording.
Here, we'll just have it.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. First item of business is the minutes.
Move on the minutes. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and approval of claims.
Move it. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
There was a second set of minutes there.
Move on the October 15th meeting minutes.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Gloria? Is there a motion on the memorandum of personnel transactions?
Move it.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'll pass around.
On this thing, I see a lot of volunteers here for the sheriff. Do we have physicals and certificates on these people already, or what's?
Yep, we're all up to date on all of them.
We are?
Yes.
Okay.
All that we have here, we're up to date on.
Okay, good.
We have physicals, we have certificates, I-9s, everything.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Gloria.
Need a motion to initiate the hiring process.
Move. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have an approval of a letter of appreciation for years of service. Everyone's already signed that. I've given it to Karen to mail out.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Have to move on.
I'm sorry.
We'll have to skip 5.
No, we can go ahead. We don't need it.
Okay.
Move on number 5.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mark?
Morning.
Morning.
Our first item here today is the approval or an addendum to our agreement with the Department of Transportation on the administration of our 260th Street repaving project. This part of the agreement goes into the DOT doing the administration, construction, inspection, and working this project right along with the overpass project on 260th Street. They'll be taking care of much of the inspection. It'll assure that we have a good handshake and project coordination between the tie-in with the bridge and the replacement of the paving there on 260th. So, recommend approval.
Move it.
Second.
We're good.
Take your pick.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Our second one is an approval of a permit to work within the right-of-way for Ron Haddock, some ditch cleaning. I recommend approval.
Second? I'd make the motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Let's make it something else.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The meeting wasn't short enough today, George. That's all we've got this week unless the board had any questions. We looked at final plans on the grading of the road into the new CF Industries plant. Hopefully, we'll be looking at a letting in the next month to month and a half. It's a little later than we had hoped, but the wetland issues and some of the permitting took longer than expected, so.
Were we having to get those permits from the state or who, I mean, from DNR?
State and Corps of Engineers.
Corps of Engineers?
Yeah, DNR is the one who had the wetlands permits for the area. We were tied into everything else being done out there. The late spring really hurt us.
Is that right, really?
Well, when we still have snowflakes hitting us in May, the wetland plants really didn't start exhibiting themselves until June.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to see them to identify them.
That is
So,
right, absolutely.
I think everything's worked as quickly as it could. It just was a challenging year in which to work.
How was the Army Corps of Engineers to work with to get a permit like that for this kind of a development? Is it,
They're usually pretty prompt.
Are they?
This one required a little bit of additional work as there was a public hearing period with this. Typically with our bridge projects, they don't require a public hearing period. But with the projects of the nature of this, where it's an individual permit, they take a little bit longer.
so you really have to have a lot of, go in there with some lead time before even,
Yes.
I mean, after, before requesting it and so that they can have that public hearing process.
Correct. I mean, after you apply for the permit, they prepare all the paperwork, and then it's 30 days of public comment. And,
Wow.
Effectively, there's 2 or 3 weeks ahead of that where they're mailing it out to everybody before the actual public hearing period comes open. So they actually turned it around pretty quickly, getting it out in 3 weeks after the hearing.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I would say they worked very hard for us once it got there. It's just
Will CF need,
consuming our year.
will CF need any additional permits from the Army Corps of Engineers now?
As far as I know, no. I think they've got everything they need to start construction. They had a portion of their permitting ready so that they were able to do some site work, get their fences in, get their road built. That came in ahead of the grading. The grading allows them to start working in the wetland areas. That's one of the big areas on our project because we are crossing a wetland that'll be remediated as part of the CF remediation out there. So.
Because we were told early on that they would be, bringing a lot of their equipment in, not on trucks or rail, but, up the river. So I was thinking that's why I asked the question.
Yeah, I don't think they have the need for any of their super loads just yet. In 2014, we're going to start getting very busy.
So that'll come later then.
Yeah, that's the equipment that's coming in and that, until they start getting built.
Okay.
The last meeting I had with CF, they've got about 100 construction employees on site now. They're starting work on the piling. Before the end of this week, we should start to see ready-mix trucks starting to blend with the aggregate trucks that are already coming in.
Pretty aggressive.
The roads are holding up pretty good.
Pretty good, yes. We have one spot that's was a little bit slick today, and somebody slid off with an SUV, and it had to be a speed issue. So I've had my foreman out there. Folks have to slow down a bit, and work together out there. And with the rain we've absorbed, and the calcium chloride in a way works against us in some of this because it's drawing that water and keeping it in that aggregate.
Sure.
And there was one slick spot about 100 feet long. Sure enough, somebody got into it.
So you got your blades on for tomorrow morning?
If we have to. We're always ready to go. I think the roads are warm enough yet. We should see a lot of melting. We could see, what I'm hearing is accumulation in grassy areas at this point in time. But our staff will be ready. Mike Lloyd lost his mother this weekend.
Okay.
Forrest Johnson is working the Hornick area for the next few days, so she died suddenly on Friday.
Oh, that's too bad.
But we'll still be ready to go when we have to be.
Okay, good.
Anything else?
Not that I can, I did have a proposal and I had spoken with the board about monitoring wells or piezometers near our gravel pit. This is at the Little Sioux pit so that we can monitor water levels when we are drawing down. This year, as you know, we started pumping water from the pit into the wetland areas that surround the shooting range. That actually proved to be a help to the Nelsons. When we were pumping, the water level came up. We didn't go as deep this year. Our water level stayed about 6 feet higher than we had in prior years. We were able to work a gravel seam that was a little bit shallower this year. As we move next year, we'll probably have to go deeper again to get the level of gravel underneath of that. One of the things that we looked at and I got a price for from CTS, Certified Testing Services, was to place 3 piezometers. Basically, they're monitoring wells that check water elevations. We'd be able to check those regularly as operations are going on to see exactly what effect drawing down the water 6 feet in the pit has. The wells would be basically their sleeve with a 10-foot slotted area where the water can infiltrate that well,
Right.
so that we can take measurements. They would have a locking cap on them so they couldn't be tampered with. They'd be located in our right-of-way and on properties that border us. The proposal for putting in 3 20-foot wells was $2,900. This isn't on your agenda today. I'm not sure if that's something that the board wants to.
That's not a bad price, is it?
It's plenty of money, George.
Is it $2,900 for, I mean, was it per well or is it all
That's
3?
$2,900 total, assuming they're all 20-foot wells. That's for all 3 wells. And when you look at it over the cost of our production, we'll probably be producing 60,000 tons a year.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, I won't know until we get our final shots when they get out of there. We'll be checking to see how much of the pit area we moved with 60,000 this year. So we'll be able to predict about how much more we're going to take out. This year we found the westward seam. So we know how far west we can go
okay.
and find good material. Now it's a matter of predicting how far to the south we're going to be going. We may have 3 to 4 years of production left in there. If we do, we're spending about $800 a year to monitor this and be able to conclusively see if we're
Having an effect on
hurting
the-
anybody
Yeah, that water
when
level.
we draw down that water. I tend to think that the effects we're seeing are due to drought. We're also looking at a Missouri River whose water table has dropped
About
by
2.
about 2.5 feet on average through our run of the river. That's bound to reflect all the way upstream.
Absolutely.
We have other water, other lakes, other bodies of water that are down significantly. Even Larry's Pond is down compared to where it's been in past years, which is well separated from either river. But I think we're seeing the effects of prolonged drought, not effects of our operation. We will not be pumping water and just discharging it to the creek anymore. Now that we have the culvert set and the piping set up, we'll continue to pump water as long as we're working there into that wetland area that surrounds the shooting range. We can assure them that we should not be doing them any damage.
So
I
why
think
are we pumping water in that wetland? Are we just doing that to preserve the wetland or acting as a filtration or why is that?
We needed to lower the water level, and we took it down 5 feet so that we could
Oh.
get to the gravel.
Okay,
So we draw down that water when we're in production
okay.
for mining out of the pit. We went down 11 feet last year, we only went down 6 this year.
I'm gonna have to cut you off, Mark. We've
That's
got,
fine.
thanks.
We can discuss this a little more.
Okay, well, I appreciate the information, yeah.
We're gonna go to,
Public hearing,
right. It says B, it's supposed to say D.
yeah.
We now have the public hearing and sale of parcel number 560913. Is there anyone here to be heard on that?
I move the public hearing be closed if there's no one to be heard for or against that sale.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This is a directed sale, Karen? Or not?
No.
Is there anyone here to bid on this property, 2301? It's adjacent to the old alley in between 2201 and 2017 Castleman. Is there anyone here to bid on that property?
I am
And your bid, sir? And your name?
William Posey.
Is there anyone else to bid? Is there a motion?
I move that Mr. Posey be awarded the bid on this piece of property.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Mr. Posey, you go right through here and this gal will take your money.
Yeah. Isn't it 25? Larry? Minimum bid was 25.
No, it was 10.
Okay.
Do we need to do some tax suspensions here on JD?
Well, no, we've got another public hearing, or set time.
They're both saying 25. I got two of them. They both say 25.
My iPad says 1018. I think we could go ahead.
There's one of them.
Yeah.
That's the wrong one.
Next, we have the public hearing and sale of property, parcel number 874613200008, also known as 2383 240th Street, Hornick, Iowa. Is there anyone to be heard?
Larry, I did need to make a record on that.
$10.
Okay?
Before we open
That's today's sale.
Oh, so it's these.
As the board knows, this is regarding the property out by Climbing Hill, the former group home. I would ask that the substance of my comments would be included in the minutes today. The published notice for the hearing today included a clerical error. It incorrectly listed the city of Sioux City as a potential buyer of the property. However, it did correctly identify the parties, Eric Healy and Tanya Hummel, as potential purchasers. And it also lists the correct legal description, the correct purchase amount, the correct date and time of the public hearing. It is the intention of the board this morning to proceed with the sale of the property to Eric Healy and Tanya Hummel as set forth in the prior resolution dated October 8th of this board, and also the purchase agreement that the board signed back on October 1st of this year. I've spoken with counsel for the buyers, and he is comfortable with the board proceeding based on the notice that we have. Basically, the purpose of the notice is to give the public a chance to come in and speak for or against it. All the pertinent information is there, and the parties are comfortable with agreeing or with proceeding with the proposal. Any questions?
Is there any kind of a motion that has to be made on the correction?
No, there doesn't.
Did we have a motion on the public hearing?
No, there was,
You can go ahead and open the public hearing.
open a public hearing on it.
All right, the public hearing is now open. Is there anyone to be heard? Is there a motion?
Seeing none, I'd move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll now proceed to sell the property to Eric Healy and Tanya Hummel. Is there a motion?
I move it.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Back up to A, approval of a tax suspension for JB.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have an approval of a resolution for notice of sale of parcel 359715 to be heard on the 5th day of November at 10:30.
Move it.
10:20, I beg your pardon.
1022.
No.
Yeah, that one.
Well, that's the
You
next
get a
one.
second?
No, I did.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now I want to set the public hearing and sale of property for parcel number 359716 for November 5th at 10:22.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Have the county auditor's report.
Move to receive it.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
It's actually the recorders. Just to clarify.
Okay. Same person. We're now to hearing of any individual group to wish to make a presentation. Any item not on the agenda? Anyone wish to be heard? Any supervisors' concerns? We need a motion.
I move to go into an executive session under 21.5, parent 1.
Second.
Parent I.
Yep.
Call the roll.
Tripp,
Aye.
Monson,
Aye.
Clausen,
Aye.
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 Somebody bring the donuts.
We just went into closed session.
Can I ask you why you skipped number 5?
We didn't. We made a motion and seconded it.
You made a motion to what?
We made a motion and seconded it.
Oh,
And
what does that mean? What does number 5 mean?
That we approve
The appointing.
the attorneys,
Oh, you just approved it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just you changed the wording in the handbook? Is that it?
No, we just approved the attorney's recommendation under that statute.
On what? I can't hear
We-
you.
We approved the attorney's recommendation under, for that particular confidential session.
For that confidential, and you can't tell us what you're gonna talk
No,
about.
I can't.
My other question too was that, I don't know his name, the green shirt, when he came up and talked about that property, is that special property that you sold to Eric Healy and Tanya Hummel?
No, it's just a house.
It's just a house? Oh, you made it sound like it was important. It is probably.
It is because we're getting money.
But
It is because we're getting money.
also, another thing, when you sell these properties for like $10 to $25, is there anything on them?
Sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't. Most times there isn't.
Grass,
We're trying to sell
dirt.
it to get it back onto the tax rolls, and we probably held on to it for years and years and years.
Okay, so, and then how do you decide, like, how do those pieces come forward?
Like this.
We get them back on basically on tax, non-tax payment, or they could be public pieces of property that somebody has developed, like the city, and it's an excess piece of property that we will get back for whatever reason.
And so people can just buy them? Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we
We
can
do
have.
that at like most meetings.
It generally